This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Alex Fisher. Topping our newscast, Kern County is one step closer to having a brand new state-of-the-art high school. Today, community leaders broke ground at the site where Del Oro High School is set for construction. 17's Aton Wallace was at the groundbreaking and joins us live from Southeast Bakersfield with reaction from community leaders. Hi, Aton.
Alex, good afternoon. Kern High School District leaders are very excited about this. Now, right now, this is just an empty 58-acre piece of land. But one day, this will be the site of Del Oro High School, set to accompany up to 2,500 students. Kern High School District leaders point out this will be KHSD's 19th high school. In addition to brand new teaching and learning spaces, the school will feature a 3-court gymnasium, 2,500-seat stadium, and 600-seat performing arts center. The future principal says this will change the way of education in Kern County.
I am beyond excited. I am so proud to be part of this. This school is going to be so incredibly unique, and I was telling someone I'm so proud that the Kern High School District has allowed the move to this type of facility that will provide so much for students, parents, and the community. I think the students who will be here are so blessed to be coming to a school that's going to serve them in the way that this school is going to serve them. So I'm very proud.
Del Oro's mascot will be the Suns, and its school colors, gold, silver, and brown. In case you were wondering how this was financed, well, district leaders say it was made possible in part through Measure K. That was the $280 million general obligation bond passed by voters in 2016. So you may be wondering, when will this all open? Well, district leaders tell me the school will at least be partially opened, ready for students beginning in the 2022-2023 school year. Reporting live in Southeast Bakersfield, Aton Wallace, 17 News.
All right, Aton, thanks so much. The Greenfield Union School District Board of Trustees voted unanimously to change the name of Plantation Elementary School. In passing a resolution in favor of the name change last night, trustees said in a news release it was the appropriate time to do so due to the name's reference to social injustices of the past, foremost among them, of course, black slavery. The resolution says the name change will take place before the end of next school year after a community engagement process runs its course. A suspected murderer is behind bars following a 6-hour standoff in Southeast Bakersfield last night. It all started at a home on Rexland Drive just after 5 o'clock last night. Inside the home, a man who refused to come out. Officers with the Bakersfield Police Department's Special Weapons and Tactics team responded. You can see the officers answering the call with at least a dozen officers in their SWAT response vehicles, and the sheriff's helicopter circled overhead. Hours later, video shows 24-year-old Billy Gleghorn being led away in handcuffs. Police say Gleghorn is the gunman behind a deadly shooting at the Vagabond Inn Tuesday night. Police say he also committed a carjacking minutes after that shooting. Gleghorn was booked into the jail for killing, carjacking, weapons violations, and resisting arrest. A 20-year-old man is facing charges for a woman's death in Ridgecrest and is due in court later today. It is still unclear exactly what happened Tuesday when a young woman was killed in Ridgecrest, but we are learning more about her. Her body was found on East Skylark Avenue in the southeast part of Ridgecrest. Those close to the victim say she was a very kind girl, her stepfather describing her as a sweet soul.
We were also friends outside of work. You know, it's very sad that I found out this. You know, I started crying when I heard about this. She just brightened up people's day. Like, all she talked about was positivity.
Her parents say they only saw Gun Arson with her a couple of times, but they say if they had known what he was like, they would never have let her see him. Gun Arson is due in court later this afternoon. Now to the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County, and Public Health says another 82 people have been infected with COVID in Kern County. On average, 35 people are testing positive every day. State data shows 27 people are in the hospital, 5 people are in the ICU. No new deaths were reported.
Clínica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clínica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
The fight over creating a January 6th commission continues on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is proud of the 35 Republicans who voted to approve an independent commission to investigate the insurrection on January 6th. However, most House and Senate Republicans oppose such a measure, saying the language in the bill limits its scope. That includes House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who says Pelosi is, quote, playing politics with the bill.
Were you surprised to see 35 Republicans vote for the commission?
No, not at all. I thought it would probably be higher, but this Pelosi commission that we tried to work on for quite some time. Remember, I asked Pelosi for one on January 13th. She spent 4 months just playing politics with it. In that time period, an officer got killed on Good Friday just across with this Capitol. She didn't want to have the scope to do that as well.
I think that there's some courage that needs to be recognized in the party, certainly in our body, Liz Cheney and others. But it's not for me to analyze them, except to say, as one who has served with Republicans for a long time in the Congress, this is a different, I would say breed of cat, but I love our kitten, Daisy, so I'm not going to say breed of cat.
The approval of a 9/11 style commission now faces an uphill battle in the Senate. And while McCarthy voted to shut down the January 6th commission, Hanford Congressman David Valadao had a different opinion. Valadao is one of 35 Republicans to approve the commission. Valadao was notably one of 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump back in January. Diplomatic moves towards a ceasefire in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have gathered pace after President Biden called for a de-escalation. But Israel has kept up its bombardment of Gaza, and Hamas. Rocket fire resumed after a pause. NBC's Richard Engel reports from Jerusalem.
Brushing aside U.S. calls for de-escalation, Israel kept up its assault on Gaza overnight, destroying what it described as Hamas military infrastructure. But pressure is growing on Israel to stop, after health officials in Gaza say around 230 Palestinians have been killed and more than 1,600 injured. President Biden spoke again with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and according to the White House, said he expected a significant de-escalation on the path to a ceasefire. Netanyahu responded that the military campaign would go forward until it's finished. And on Hamas,
there are only two ways that you can deal with them. You can either conquer them, and that's always an open possibility, or you can deter them. And we are engaged right now in forceful deterrence.
Hamas fired more rockets toward Israel and says every Israeli escalation will be met with a Hamas escalation. But covering this conflict has been challenging. Unlike in previous rounds, Israel has not allowed foreign journalists into Gaza. Hamas has imposed no such restrictions. Many Palestinians say Israel doesn't want more of the world's attention focused on the appalling humanitarian conditions in Gaza, which is run by Hamas. Israel doesn't allow Palestinians to leave Gaza, even while it's under attack.
The details of a ceasefire are still being hammered out, but broadly speaking, they would see Israel stopping the attacks against Gaza, Hamas halting its rocket fire, and also more opening of the Gaza Strip. Gaza is completely sealed off, not just to journalists, but also to humanitarian aid. A UNICEF official told us that there are UNICEF trucks ready to take supplies into Gaza, but they've been blocked, and among those supplies are 10,000 COVID vaccines. Richard Engel, NBC News, Jerusalem.
From our 17 follow-up file, a date has been set for the memorial service for Bakersfield Police Department K-9 Django, who was shot and killed last month in the line of duty. It is happening tomorrow. Police say the service is closed to the public, but because of COVID-19 regulations, but will be live streamed on the BPD and City of Bakersfield websites. A vehicle procession will begin at 8:45 in the morning from BPD headquarters to Mechanics Bank Convention Center on Truxtun Avenue. The memorial service will start at 10 a.m. We will live stream it on our Facebook page. Bakersfield Police Department is cracking down on street racing next week. The department announced a virtual town hall scheduled to take place Tuesday, May 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. The town hall will discuss the issues surrounding street racing, ongoing enforcement efforts, and will also address community questions and concerns. To register, just head to bakersfieldcity.us. A beloved Bakersfield restaurant is finally set to reopen after a devastating fire destroyed the business in December of last year. Tina Marie's Cafe will reopen next Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. The restaurant will reopen in the downtown location that currently houses Chef's Noodle Bar. That's right at the intersection of I and 19th Streets. It will be a temporary location as she waits for the rebuild of the original cafe on Chester Avenue. The rebuilding could take a year.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.